Notice the book of Romans, the 12th chapter on tonight. And we're going to call your attention to verse number 6 on tonight. Notice what Paul said, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us. I love Paul. Paul said, let us use them. Use your gift. But Paul also recognized that if a person is going to use their gift, they're going to need to have certain traits. And notice in verse number 11, Paul says, not lagging in diligence, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. If you're going to use your gift, you cannot be lagging in diligence. You need to be fervent in spirit in serving the Lord. I want you to look at a neighbor tonight and tell your neighbor, our subject tonight, be diligent and fervent in serving the Lord. Notice in the book of Romans, we know, of course, that Paul is the author of this wonderful and encouraging book. What I love about what Paul said in the 6th verse is that Paul himself recognized when it came to God's house that you're going to have people that are going to be different. And some folk will fall out with you because you are different. Now I understand that there is a point to where we can enter into that our difference will cause chaos or disorder. But Paul recognized that when it came to God, that the sovereign God, when he released his grace upon us, he gave us gifts that were different. And even in one text, Paul went so far as to say that God has set us in the body as it has pleased him. And so Paul was a man that recognized that when it came to our offices and when it came to our giftings, that we were not all going to be the same. But in auxiliaries and within churches, it is so important that we learn how to celebrate our differences. I said it's good when you can learn how to celebrate your differences. It's good when you can learn how to appreciate something that's not in you, but something that lies within a brother or a sister. I should have got more claps then, because when you recognize that the gift that you don't possess, but your sister or your brother does possess it, you then recognize that that gift is also been given to them in order to benefit you. And see, when it came to Paul, though Paul was a mighty man of God, Paul also recognized that he could not do everything on his own. Paul was the type of man that was not even going to try to do ministry all by himself. But Paul was so blessed that he actually recognized that God was going to send people to him and that they were going to have gifts that would be beneficial for the ministry. You know, that's about like our bishop tonight. He is a man that can recognize that God is raising up people, that God has sent him some folk, and they are going to be a blessing not only to him but to the church in general. And whenever you have such a person who recognizes that we are different when it comes to our giftings, yet just because we are different does not mean that I need to be jealous. And see, in an auxiliary, we can't afford to be jealous of one another. See, I love Paul because Paul was not a jealous man. Paul was not a man that got into ministry for the sake of competing. Because anytime jealousy begins to creep into a ministry, and anytime God folks start competing with one another rather than complimenting one another, we're going to have a problem. I need to say that a little bit louder. When you are jealous of your brothers and your sisters, when you are competing with folk rather than learning how to receive from them, I said it's going to be a problem in the house. Can I just say it like I feel it tonight? Whenever you have folk that are jealous of each other, whenever you have folk competing against one another up in the same house, you're going to have a mess. Oh, yeah. Tap somebody and tell them we don't need to be messy. Oh, yes. Tell somebody like you mean it. We don't need to be messy up in God's house. Oh, God didn't call me out of the street in order for me to be messy. God didn't heal me that I might serve him, and then all of a sudden I get messy because I'm jealous of what somebody else is doing. You got to learn in ministry that when your sister is shining, that light is also on you, because we in the same house. We got the same daddy. We got the same vision. Oh, you better high five somebody and tell them, stop being messy. Stop being, just cut it out. Just cut it out. Just end it tonight. Because there's no room for folk to be messy up in God's house. Oh, can I just go on and deal with this thing? See, when folks are messy, oh God, they in an auxiliary, but they have their favorites. Oh, messy folk don't love everybody. They ain't gonna treat everybody right. Oh, y'all, you know some messy folk. See, messy folk don't support everybody. They mainly support their friends. See, when you got a messy alto in the choir, they're really not going to sing with all that they got. They're not going to give it they all unless they friend leading the song. And if their friend leading the song, then they're going to give it all that they got. But if you know they don't like you anyway, don't expect them to open up their mouth. Oh, God, I'm up in the house tonight. See, messy folks won't follow their pastor. They'll call up their partner, and if their partner ain't going, they ain't going. Oh, God, a messy person call up their friend and say, I'm on my way to church tonight. You ain't going? No. Be able to make it tonight. Well, I was gonna let you know that I'm singing my song tonight. Oh, I didn't know you were singing. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get off then, and then I'm gonna be there, cause you know me and you like that. Oh my God, messy folk will be stabbing their leader in the back. Oh my God, messy folk talk about their leader. Messy folk say stuff in private that they won't utter in public. Messy folk will plot against you. They're in the auxiliary, but they're plotting the downfall of the auxiliary. And I come to tell you tonight, without being afraid, that there are messy folk in small churches. There are messy folk in large churches. Oh God, you better high five somebody and shout, show it right, show it right, show it right. We got to get the mess out of ministry. We got to get the mess. There's a lot of auxiliaries that God want to move in them, but there's too much mess going on.